What's the week been like, Justin, from the guys? How have they responded on the track?
Well, pretty good. Yeah, the review was, it was a bit mixed in terms of, what we didn't get right versus what we did get right. And, they've bounced out of that pretty well. They trained well Tuesday, they had yesterday off. So they all seemed pretty up and about, ready to move on today. So that's what we're asked of them. So, yeah.
With this week, do you talk much about the importance of the occasion and what it means in the context of your season?
Oh, not really, because the process gets lost in what you actually need to do by focusing on the outcome. And it's one thing we've been trying to get our players away from this year is focusing on stuff they can't control and outcomes, and getting them really focused in on what we need to do well. So, the review was mainly around some processes we got right, some processes we got wrong, and they'll carry into focuses for this week. The result will be a byproduct of us getting certain things right.
Do you think that players are still in their heads a little bit thinking result rather than process? Like, there's been key moments in games where you haven't necessarily captured. Are they looking at the result at that point? I think we need to do this because of the result.
No, probably not. Probably not the last couple of weeks. I think we've really got back to what's important for us the last couple of weeks. There was a minute period in the last quarter where the game got away from us. They kicked 3 goals in 8 possessions. I just think that was a result of us not getting the contest right. But I thought we focused for a large part of the game on the right things. I mean, we're plus 20 ground ball against Western Bulldogs when we got beaten by minus 30 against them last time. So we got a lot of areas right on the weekend. We didn't capitalise on the scoreboard when we could have and should have. And like I said, we let the game get away from us for a real brief period of the game. So I don't think that was a byproduct of us thinking about outcomes. I think the last 2 weeks we've got back to focusing on what's important for us.
How's that fight emotionally, given another?
Oh, he's in a decent space. Unfortunately, he's had a bit of practice dealing with these setbacks. So, we'll work out a time frame and get him back into rehab and make sure he's around the group and getting well supported. But he'd be disappointed because he even probably felt like he was starting to string some games together and his body was starting to feel a bit better. And for this to hit him is, it's obviously disappointing and a setback, but he's handled it pretty well.
What do you say to him when he has another setback and he's frustrated and you're frustrated and he's asking questions himself about how he's going? So what's your message?
Well, one thing he's pretty good at is rationalising these injuries. And it's really just about making sure as a club we're supporting him from then on and making sure we're really clear on his program. So, he's done that well. So, he seemed really rational about it when I spoke to him. I think it was Monday and Sunday night. So, we'll wrap our arms around him and see what he can do to support us and help us win while he's out.
Are you worried at all about his future next 2 years, given something keeps breaking with him randomly?
I understand that point of view. I feel like this is something that we can deal with and it's not going to be a long-term issue. I feel like we've had some real success with some of the longer term stuff in terms of his back and that. So I feel like we've got over that hump, so to speak, with his body. And this is just a minor setback. I have full confidence that when we get him back, he'll play some really good footy and help us get where we want to get to.
Fairly low on games experience. How do you cover another loss in that area?
Don't really, just next man up and see how we can balance the team. Don't sit here every week and go, we're young and use it as an excuse. So I won't be doing that. We've lost an important player to us. Feel like we've got players that have been playing some really good footy at Peel. Neil's been the sub. So we've got some options to come in and make sure we put a well-balanced team out there this week.
Coming up against a big body midfield, is that something that you're well placed to counter, or do you need to bring in some size?
We'll look at our options, whether that's within the team, and we can reshuffle the deck chairs a little bit, or whether we need to bring someone in. And we'll work that out after training.
Luke Jackson has obviously done some centre bounce work as a ground level guy. When you talk about shuffling the team, is that an option for him?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Like I've been saying all along, we feel like he's a good ground level player. We've put him in it as a midfielder at times this year. So yeah, that's an option for sure.
Jai Amos signing on long term, must be stoked to have him locked in for future seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this contract taking through to about mid-20s. So yeah, it shows how young he is and how much faith we've got in him, and he sees this as a place where he can develop, as do Jono and Josh Tracy, who have just signed as well. So yeah, it's good to have them locked away. It's good that they see this as a place to improve their careers and play their footy. So yeah, it's a win-win for both parties.
Have you been surprised at all with just how quickly Jai's come along in the AFL, particularly given key forwards tend to take a fair bit of time to develop?
Oh, yes and no. I've been pleasantly surprised with his season, given his pre-season wasn't overly strong. So he's still got so much improvement left in him in terms of his fitness and getting pre-seasons under his belt. But on the flip side, I've seen him at underage level be able to kick goals in multiple ways and have multiple strings to his bow. So I think probably his marks on the lead maybe and have dropped away a little bit, but he's been able to kick goals at ground level the last few weeks. I think we've seen 3 or 4, or maybe even 5 snap goals. So he's got that string to his bow as well, which we've seen. So he's developing nicely. He's, like I've been saying with him and Josh, they're going to have their ups and downs and moments when more they're playing against more senior defenders, but they've got strings to their bow, which is helping them get through those.
Just back on that midfield mix, what about Will Brodie? He was obviously a big part of the side last year. Where does he sort of stand, whether it's this week or for the rest of the season? Yeah,
Will's had a pretty interrupted last month in terms of having an ankle injury, and even when he has played, that ankle hasn't been right. So, or good enough to allow him to improve on a few things we need to improve on. So, we'll just have to make a decision this week whether we need to give that ankle another week off and get it 100% right, or he needs another game in the waffle. So we'll just work through that. He's got to get through training and make that call. But we need him back at 100% fitness and his physical capabilities before we can consider him.
You mentioned Jackson midfield potential. He's obviously got some issues with the ability to ruck.
Yeah.
If you take him out of the forward line and then when Darcy's not rucking, is Tracy still your option? And how difficult is it working out your mix of tools in different positions at the moment?
No, absolutely. It's a good point because they're a really good intercept marking team, and they win it back and bounce pretty quickly. So, we need to just make sure we're balanced with the way we use both. Luke really. We're hoping he'll get through training and be able to be our second ruck this week, and that's where it sits at the moment. So that'll allow Jai and JT to spend most of their time forward to be able to give us that contest. So, we'll work through that balance at selection, but it's important.
It'd be very much fingers crossed that you can get him into that ruck spot.
He's clearly our best second ruck. So we hope he can, jump off that leg and be as mobile as he needs to be.
There's a lot of current and past AFL players are dealing with their nude photos being leaked and shared on social media. Is that anything that's being addressed in the club?
It's definitely been addressed higher levels at the club and clearly been addressed higher levels at the AFL. From my point of view, they're not legitimate photos yet, is what I understand, and they've been illegally shared, so I feel really uncomfortable talking about it, to be honest.